Curtain panels are so expensive. If you want a beautiful pinch pleat curtain panel, you're looking at anywhere from $100, $200, $300 and up per panel. And if you've got a lot of windows to cover, that can quickly blow your budget. So I am here today to show you how to take any curtain panel and transform it to make it look custom and expensive. I'm personally using the IKEA Ritva panels. However, if IKEA isn't your jam, they don't have anything that you want, I'm going to show you how you can transform any curtain panel using some inexpensive and easy DIY hacks that require no sewing. It's amazing. I'm Beth and welcome to the Interior Life, and let's get started. Let's go over our supplies. So I'm using the Ritva curtains from IKEA. The reason being, they're $35 for 2 panels that are 98 inches long, which is perfect for my windows, and they already have drapery header tape on the back, and I'll go over that with you in just a minute. You're also going to need drapery pins. You'll need pleating pins as well as end pins, some drapery rings, and I'll have all that linked for you below so you'll know exactly what to purchase. Now I do have a needle and thread there, and again, you don't have to sew anything. This is just an extra little step that you can choose to do if you wish. Now if you've got drapery panels that don't have the curtain tape on the top already, you can purchase it from Amazon and simply iron it on the back with some heat and bond. And I'll show you a little bit more about what that looks like and where you need to place that on your drapery panels. But again, no sewing required. All right, so let's get started making these pleats. You can see here, this is my IKEA Ritva panel, and the drapery tape is already on the top of this curtain panel on the back. It comes this way, and that's why these IKEA panels are so great for this. But if your curtain panel does not have the drapery tape already on the back, again, you can simply purchase it from Amazon and then use some of that heat and bond. You'll just need to put a strip at the top of the tape and a strip at the bottom of the tape in between the panel and the back of the tape and iron it on there. So again, no sewing required if you're not using panels that do not already have the drapery tape attached. So I'm going to start with making my first pleat, and I'm using the 4-pronged drapery pin. Now the thing with making these pleats is you can choose any sort of style that you want, any 2 pleats, 3 pleats. I'm going for 3 pleats, and really all you have to do is just remain consistent with how you are putting the pins into those loops. So I'm starting to the right of those little threads there that are meant just to put a curtain pole in there, curtain rod, and I'm counting over 4 of those little tiny loops right there and putting my first prong in. Then I'm going to count over 3 of the little loops and put my second prong in to that loop. Next, I'm going to count over 3 little loops again, 1, 2, 3, and put it into that 3rd loop. And then I know it goes blurry here, but it's going to clear up here in just a second. But I'll count over 3 more loops again and put that 4th prong into that loop. So there you can see it. It's already starting to form a pleat there on the back. So you're going to work your way up to the top of the panel. Now for the second row, I recommend starting with the 2 middle prongs and just sliding those straight up into the loops directly above it. The fabric does start getting a little squished together, so make sure you're actually sliding it straight above into that loop and not going to the one next to it. So just do those 2 there in the middle, and then you can slightly bend the drapery pin to get the end ones inside. And again, just make sure that you're going straight up directly from the loop below. You can see right there. And then you'll just slightly bend the other one and slide it in, and then push your pin all the way through. So you can see definitely now the pleats are starting to form. So again, same method. I'm going to just use the 2 middle prongs first and slide those directly above into those loops. And they do get hung sometimes. Those pins can be a little rough on the edge. And then I'll bend the outside prongs and make sure that those get into the loops directly above there. So you can see it can get a little bit tedious because the fabric does start to squish up and it's hard to see that you're going directly straight above, and then the prongs can pop out after you put them in. But once you get them in there, they are in there for good and they will stay. So I've got everything in and slide up, and there you go. There is your first drapery pin in there. So I'm going to flip it over, and you can see now where the pleat has formed. So you can see I've got 3 pleats there, and it's a nice little pinch. Now I'm going to show you one more time because I know it can be confusing watching. I'm going to show you one more time with one more pin. So again, I'm starting to the right of that little thread there, and I'm counting over 4. Then I'm counting over 3. Then I'm counting over 3 again. And now I'm counting over 3 again. So 4, 3, 3, and 3. Now I'm just going to continue by starting with the 2 middle pins, or prongs, 2 middle prongs, and put those directly above, and then I can bend the prong over and get those outside ones, and there is a fly. So that makes it a little easier, so they're not going to slide out as I try to work my way through. And it does get easier as you kind of get the hang of it, working your way down the line of your draperies. It's just sometimes it can be a little bit fiddly when the fabric starts to kind of squish up underneath there. So always make sure that you are actually getting the loops directly above and being consistent in your pattern. So there you go. There are 2 drapery pins in now. So now I'm going to show you how to do the end pins. These are much smaller. You can see that there is a blunt end and a sharp end there on your drapery pin. So what I like to do is to find basically kind of like the height of where that last drapery pin is. So you can see there on the loop, on the little hook for that drapery pin where it's hitting there on that curtain, and then I'm going to find it on the other side with my drapery pin and make sure that they match up. Then I'm just going to take that sharp end and just push it into the fabric, not all the way through to the front, just through the little side fabric there, and push that on up. So now I've got a little end hook. And the reason why you want that little end hook is so you don't end up with like a kind of a crazy corner on your draperies. It's kind of flying out. That'll keep it nice and tucked in and neat and uniform with the rest of the pleats. All right, and here is the finished drapery panel. So I've got all of my hooks in. I added another little end hook to the other side of the panel, and you can see what this looks like from the back with all of your drapery pins threaded through the little loops there. So you're going to want to turn your panel over and make sure that everything looks even on that side, that all of your pleats are evenly spaced, and that you've got 3 little pleats in each section. So this is where you can get bonus credit for sewing. Totally not required, but it's pretty simple to do if you decide to do it. So you can see there that the pleats, when they're squished together and sewn together, they tend to look a little bit crisper than when they're left unsewn. I have actually done these panels both ways. So you can see there what it looks like unsewn, but I'm going to go ahead and sew these because I do want that crisper look. I am not a seamstress by any stretch of the imagination. I can only do like 2 basic stitches. I have no idea what this one is called, but all I'm doing is running my needle and matching thread through those pleats pinched together and just putting a few stitches in there to hold those closed and give them that neater, crisper look. If you choose to do this, great. If not, it's totally not required. And then when I finish, I'm just going to push the needle back through the back side of the fabric and make a quick little knot there to keep everything into place. So you can see there the thread making that little pleat nice and tight, and then pushing it through the back. And then I'm just going to make a little knot by catching just a tiny little bit of fabric on my needle, and then I'm just making a basic knot by sliding the needle through that little loop of thread there. I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology, but we're just gonna go with it. So that's it. That's it. You can do that on each of your pleats and see if you like the look. So here we go. There is the completed stitches there on that pleat, and then I'm going to show you what they look like side by side so you can decide if that is what you want to do on your panels. So you can see how the one on the left just kind of has a more casual, relaxed look, and the one on the right is a more formal, crisper look. So let me know what you decide to do with your panels. Are you gonna stitch the pleats, or are you gonna leave them nice and open like that? So here we go. Here is my completed panel, and you can see all the nice little crisp pleating there, and I'm super happy with how they turned out. So now I'm gonna take my drapery ring, and I'm gonna just simply put the little hole there onto the little hook. If your drapery rings come with clips, you can simply take them off, and you'll just put one of those on the back of each pin. So this is how they turned out in my room. These are not functioning drapery panels. They're just simply here for decoration. So I just put them in between each of our windows in our master bedroom. I'm really happy with how they turned out. It's definitely something that the wall needed to kind of frame those windows out a little bit better. I'm really happy with the Ritva curtains. They blend in nicely with my white blinds, and they're not too sheer. They let in just a tiny little bit of light. And also on my hardware there at the top, I'll be sure and link it if you're interested in the same one. It comes in different colors. So that's it. That's the end of the tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching.